I'm a quite adventurous person. No matter where it is, if it is some kind of a physical location or some kind of a person, I always like to explore each and every single aspect of them. Of course, I don't ask needy questions of like, do you have a life partner or those kinds of like deep questions that you wouldn't really tell to a person that you've just met. So I usually just start off small, and I don't even need that kind of an information yet. I only just want to have the best relationship with everyone because I want them to become the best possible version of themselves. And so, whenever I meet someone new, I always just start the conversation as if I was already friends with them. So I don't start with, well, yeah, I do introduce myself, but then I always find something that me and the other person share in common. And this is exactly what I did with one of the closest friends of mine that I've made online. Like, bro, we've talked about so much deep stuff with this guy. Like, we're basically blood bonded brothers at this point. I met him in this online community that I'm very active in right now, and we both are working on this like huge project that can bring us a lot of money in the future. So so we join the calls like each and every single day to basically like discuss life and discuss the projects in the first place, and it is always a lot of fun. And around 2 weeks ago, he went onto this cruise with his family, so he couldn't join the calls for like 4 days straight, which was really sad. And yeah, I kind of missed him, but whatever, life goes on. I still made a lot of progress during that time because, of course, I didn't have to talk to him, so I had a lot of time for myself, but it did get a bit lonely from time to time. But then, when he came back, oh boy, I don't really engage that much in like small talk, but it's not that I hate it, it's just that I like long and purposeful conversations because my voice just genuinely sounds better when I have a clear purpose to talk about. Like, I'm not that type of YouTuber who would say, "Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to my vlog number 456." No, 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 my friend. I always like to talk about deep subjects like the subconscious mind, discipline, psychology, motivation, dopamine, and all of these self-evolution uh, terms that can help you into becoming like the best possible version of yourself. So I genuinely enjoy talking like this and with a clear sense of purpose. So like my voice is really good for like telling like satire jokes or like dark humor jokes, and for example like deep topics like trauma for example, but it isn't good for just like joking around, talking about bullshit like skibidi toilet, I think. And yeah. So hmm, I naturally just play my cards right, and I don't really engage in small talk. And so I even found it better. Like, whenever I had something, a clear purpose in the conversation to talk about with them, to be like way more comfortable in the conversation in the first place. Like, I just talk to them about it, and the conversation goes on swimmingly. Of course, I put the focal point on them as much as possible because I'm in the conversation with them and I want to find out the most about them without, you know, uh, getting something really deep from them. So that's why when I try to ask for something very personal, I just add something like, if I'm allowed to ask or is it okay to ask. So I'm not that kind of a person that would ask for like very private information. I don't even care about that. And yeah, gossip is something that only women have the pleasure of doing constantly. So yeah. And so when I was asking him about the cruise, bro literally went on for hours on end. And I definitely mean like for hours. We talked about everything for like 2 hours straight. And of course, like other people joined the conversation as well, because that's just the law of human beings. Like whenever they see fun, they want to join it immediately. So when we started the fire, other people came in the call and they started pouring in the oil as well. Like from their own advice, they started telling their own stories. And so yeah, it was a nice and a perpetual positive feedback loop that ended up lasting for like 2 hours straight. Now, I'm not trying to say that having small talks and having no purpose in the conversation whatsoever, so like putting out your inner child and like for example Having some fun with your girlfriend or with your soulmate or with your younger brother is bad, even if you have a voice like mine. I don't know, my friend. I still play with my younger brother, with my inner child, and it is still a lot of fun. What I'm trying to say is that you should never be needy in a conversation. You need to always have a clear purpose for why you're trying to talk to the other person. You need to have a clear goal and a clear interest in what you want to talk about with them. Meaning that if you just ask them something general like, "Oh, how are you?" then they have a million different answers of answering you. And chances are they will say something like good. And just like that, the conversation came into a close. But if you ask them about something very specific, that you can literally think of like five sub questions from your mind, from the top of your mind, even right now, then of course the conversation will last. Because before you even get to the last sub question, you're already gonna come up with like 20 others sub questions, if that makes sense. You're gonna literally make the conversation into an unstoppable wheel that is literally circling down a mountain. You're literally gonna perpetuate it like there's no tomorrow whatsoever. And if you implement like advice, like so if you tell them like what should they have done, if you give your own life stories, then that is gonna even perpetuate you even further. And so Hmm. You need to have a genuine interest in it, which most of us do, of course. We want to be that people who everyone wants to be around. We want to be that kind of people that everyone appreciates to have around, for example. And yeah, what most of us fail to do is that we are way too needy to keep the conversation going. We are too needy to not have the awkward silence. We are too needy to basically like just get something out of the other person. Meaning that from now on, the only time where you gonna some we're gonna talk where you are gonna talk to someone is when you will have a clear purpose of talking about something with them. Whether it is something small as for example, just engaging with small talk with your younger brother about the anime that you just ended ended up watching on that day, or whether it is something big like asking for advice on dating women from some guy on social media, or whether it is something very big, like it is a genuine question that will determine the future of your career forever, then always never just go into the conversation without having a clear goal. Like if you don't have a clear goal that you want to get into, that you want to slowly but surely take the conversation into, then I highly suggest that you don't even go into the conversation in the first place because it's gonna be completely wasted, and the other person will even feel the innocentity in your voice, and they're gonna get repelled by it heavily. And a last tip that I actually find very useful is that whenever you join an ongoing conversation, you need to so like when you're trying to connect to a highway and there are all of these cars, right? And then you have to like wait for the perfect moment. Let me tell you, the perfect moment for you to join that conversation will always come because there will always be a room for you to join in. Like, for example, a couple of days ago, they were talking about with this friend of mine that I've been talking about this entire video, and this and with this some other guy who is really good as well, who is a really good guy as well. They were talking about, I don't know, it was something about religion. And I just joined in at the perfect moment because they were discussing something like, oh, why do bad things happen to good people? And I came in and I, on the perfect moment, even if I slightly interrupted the other person, I said that God isn't some kind of a personality in the sky. It is a frequency that we must align ourselves to. We must help ourselves before helping others. Because when we help ourselves, when we change our ways of thinking, our beliefs, our thought processes, then God will help us as well. And so something small like that, just giving a piece of advice that will literally take you like 10 seconds to say, will literally supercharge that conversation into new highs. And oh boy, it's gonna be a complete perpetual feedback loop from that point. Because I then they changed the focal point from themselves to me, and now I was the one who was explaining like the rules of the subconscious mind, the God frequency, and all of these manifestation techniques. And yeah, but don't worry, I slowly but surely ping-ponged the focal point back on them, and I was slightly in the conversation from that point. Because, yeah, I had something to work on myself, and I didn't really want to bother them that much, because they seem to have a lot of fun in that. So it was just something that I wanted to add, and they really appreciated it. Like, one of the people in the conversation even commended me for creating a clear point, even if I wasn't able to explain it that well as I did right now, because I only knew that, I only learned that like 3 days prior to that conversation. So I understood it perfectly in my head, but I just couldn't phrase it perfectly. So even if you don't have a clear value that you want to give, like even if you do understand it perfectly, but you just don't know how to phrase it correctly, then go for it still. Because you will still benefit the people around you, even if they don't make any sense out of it. They will still deeply appreciate it, and they will still deeply appreciate you joining in and actually giving them your own input. But that's only if you are genuinely interested in that conversation and interested in the people as well. If you genuinely want to help them, and not be needy for them. Like, for example, oh yeah, I told you this piece of advice, now you give me this piece of advice on how to make $10,000 per month. No, no, no. You just help them because you genuinely want to, because that's what the best possible version of yourself in this life would do. Just for the sake of fulfillment, because he has everything achieved. And just because he's a nice guy and he wants to help the people around him. You understand what I'm trying to say? And after that, that piece of advice will be given to you on a silver plate after a while. After like months of doing this, it will come to you just like that. Like we already said, when you are needy for something, it will run away from you. So if you are needy of the other person and you don't have a clear purpose of talking about with them, and instead the purpose is them, then yeah, you're not gonna get anywhere, my friend. So please, learn from this lesson and try to come up with some plans and try to come up with some of your own conversation openers. Okay, my timeless reader? Good. If you want to join a community where we discuss our mental health and full of like minded men who share the same values as you, the same likes and dislikes, the same goals as you, who are becoming the best version of themselves every single day to surpass you in the race of men, but at the same time, they will be like your true, blood bonded brothers with whom you can talk about any kind of topic and any kind of life lesson that you wish, then you can join our Discord clan in the description. I know that if you're watching videos like these and willing to take action, that you have way more potential than you think you have. So please harness it and join us on the path towards greatness. I know that you'll find your place in there instead of the 99% of people that just hold you back constantly. But besides that, you can like the video, subscribe if you want, join the email list in the description, and get yourself a free book about mindfulness. Comment on which part of the video you like the most, and which part of the video you will implement in your daily life. Don't forget to join the clan, you're still invited, and become a part of the family. If you want to learn about healthy mindsets that will guarantee success in the long term and in the short term by mending your mental health and bring you on the right path, no matter what, no matter the life test, no matter the goal, then I highly suggest that you should go check out Timeless Readers Mindsets in the description. It is truly something life changing, and you would be an absolute fool to miss out, especially with the discount that is happening over there right now. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching this video, and remember, no one is better at being you